There we go. So how is everyone? I'm pretty frazzled today, so apologies in advance if this lecture is not, as normal. I also apologize for not having edited and uploaded the previous video. It's in the to-do list with pretty much everything else. Yeah, so we're gonna do as many cases as I feel like doing, frankly. I'm gonna try to keep it up, but I kind of want to have at least a little bit of energy in my body when we do the US v. Virginia case, and I'm not certain that I'm gonna have that today. So yeah. I can't imagine the stress that you're going through with regard to other classes and how that's working out. I think it's a good thing that faculty have a large degree of input, and they get to decide how to do things a certain way, the way that works for them. But that also means they don't have to be understanding. So I advise for other classes, focus on them more than mine. If they're requiring you to do stuff exactly like it was before, I'm sorry, and pay less attention to my class. That's all I can. That's all I can say. I don't know how my colleagues are doing their classes. I haven't talked to them. Yeah, I know. I don't get it. I couldn't think of adding more stuff for you all to do that would actually make you work more. That boggles my mind. I can tell you how little work I get done because I have my daughter for 4 or 5 hours a day. And I know you all have families, and some of you have kids, and some of you are taking care of your parents, and I couldn't imagine asking you to do more things. But I don't know. I can't answer why some faculty are responding the way they are. I could give you some answers: lack of empathy, lack of understanding, lack of caring. I mean, all of those are possible explanations. I imagine it's a combination of all of them, or a combination of being so out of touch with your students to begin with that you don't understand the circumstances they're in. Academia trains us to be good researchers. That's why most of us hold these positions. We're good at research. But that doesn't require us to actually be good people or understanding or connected with our students at all, and that's a problem. And I think a lot of you are seeing that much more clearly right now. And I'm sorry. That's all I can say. I'm sorry. It's not fair to you all. Some of the best faculty you probably have are faculty who don't have job protection, faculty who are teaching 5 courses and have to muddle through. Those are probably the best faculty you have, because they're the ones who actually care about student instruction. And that's not to say that those of us who are tenured around the tenure track don't. I mean, many of us do. But a lot of us, or a lot of faculty in my position, aren't concerned about student performance, student success, students in general. Valerie, let me answer. I can answer that one in particular. I haven't even opened my email today. And I know that's wrong. There's just so much going on in my life right now that I can't, I, yeah, I haven't looked at my email today. Um, I see it on my phone and I know students haven't emailed me today, so that's good. Um, if a student emailed me, I probably would open it. I can tell you I've ignored emails from my colleagues. Uh, and I just, yeah, I, it's hard for everyone, and I'm sorry that some people aren't um, thinking about what that means. Um, and I don't mean you all, I mean your faculty. Uh, my my only response on that is if your faculty doesn't reply, email your chair. And if the chair or the chair of the department, and if the chair doesn't reply, email the dean and email the dean of students, because Valerie, that's frankly unacceptable. If you emailed me and it took me a week and a half to respond, I would hope you were angry with me. Um, at the beginning of this, I said, uh, at the beginning of this, I said, please be kind to, with regard to student evaluations of faculty, and I still mean that. Be kind to your frazzled um, instructors, but in cases like that, yeah, you should absolutely be forthright in those reviews. Um, not that, and I'll tell you, they don't really matter. um, but you might get more if you email chairs and you email deans. But yeah, your evaluations are quote unquote important, but also don't really matter. Um, yeah, I can see that, Andrew. I mean, to a degree, if I tried to keep this format, the format that I had beforehand, online, exactly the same, it would also be harder. And I think you all realize that. If I tried to do the Socratic method of randomly calling on you, and like, of course, it would be massively harder. Um, do you know when classes will go back to normal? No. Um, Not this summer, probably not the fall either. Maybe the spring, maybe. But I don't see classes going back in the fall. I think we'll still be online in the fall. Um, I think if we let up restrictions for the fall, it will be for things like labs um, and that sort of instruction where face-to-face is absolutely necessary. But I don't think we'll see a mass opening of campus. So Michael, in terms of next year, not at all. The way the state of Texas budgets is they do budgets for 2 years. So we actually already have next year's budget. We have that money. So in terms of finances for next year, not going to be in effect. We might see some what we call clawback to cover other expenses, but President Wilson only expects that to be like 2 or 3%. And that 2 or 3%, frankly, we've saved by turning the lights off on campus. You understand, we don't, our expenditures on campus have drastically dropped over the past month. And so when we talk about in terms of finances, we have to also, we're going to lose some in the fall, probably in terms of enrollment, but we're also going to save in terms of just, we don't have to have everything turned on at the same level. So I think next year will be fine in terms of finances. I mean, I would say our average student won't notice a change. I say My salary is going to be fine. Yeah, my salary is not going anywhere. I know that official top levels of some colleges, so like deans, provosts, admin, have taken like 10% cuts. And let me be frank, if they ask us to take a 10% cut, I can easily take a 10% cut. That's that's not a problem, but I just don't see that happening. The state of Texas funds education here very well in comparison to other states. Um, and I don't think it will affect us greatly. Another thing that you all don't think about is in terms of travel budgets. Like all of us have travel budgets. My travel budget yearly is close to around $4,000. Guess what I'm not using? Guess what every faculty is not using? So all of that goes back into the pool. And so in terms of finances, we're doing pretty good at UTEP. And I think we'd be fine in the fall and fine up until the next fiscal year. We might experience some cuts the next fiscal year. So not next year, but the next year after that. But it would be not in terms of operating budget. So we'll be fine in that regard, I think. So that's not something to worry about. Any of you who are in terms of on plan to graduate, that is absolutely not going to be an issue. The Board of Regents and the Texas Legislature will make sure that that happens.